Well, it's a catastrophe, Laura. I mean, this is a government that's disconnected from reality. You can't open and close a state on 24 hours notice. This shows a total disregard for the very fundamental principles of business, and quite frankly, I think we've been deluded and we've been sucked into a false sense of confidence by a Premier that continues to mislead us.
What does it mean for your restaurants? Have you made, for example, big food purchases in anticipation of opening? What happens to that?
Well, we were told last week very clearly, Laura, that we were going to have a dark opening on Monday and Tuesday, and we should prepare for an opening on Wednesday. We were told further that on Sunday, Mr Andrews was going to announce significant reopening announcements. Now, on that basis, we prepared as an industry. I should tell you there's been millions and millions of dollars of food preparation done. Our rosters work on a weekly basis, so over 100,000 workers, hospitality workers, have been rostered on for this week. So it's a total kick in the guts here, because what's happened now is if we don't open on Wednesday, as has been promised, all that food's going to go to waste. It'll be given away to charity, thankfully. But again, this is going to cost the industry millions and millions of dollars. This is after, of course, being shut down for 8 months. So, you've got an industry that's on its knees. It is really quite disrespectful what has happened in the last few days.
So, Chris, how are you getting your information? Are you gathering around TVs for that daily media conference from Daniel Andrews, just like millions of other Victorians, or have you had a better line of communication?
Well, now, Laura, this is a very fundamental issue you've raised. You would think that a government that is planning to open a true $1 trillion economy would be having a serious, open and considered dialogue with business. We're getting none of that. We're not able to get any feedback from government. All we're hearing is what we hear through the news. I mean, personally, I'm at my wit's end. I can't even watch those news conferences anymore. They're far too morbid and repetitive. And quite frankly, again, the information that comes from those press conferences is useless. What we need proper, open, considered dialogue. Laura, what we have here at the moment, this is the tip of the iceberg. Yes, Mr Andrews has suspended the so-called opening of the state for a few days while he reassesses this cluster in northern Melbourne. But what this really shows is a government out of control, a government that's isolated from its community and it's from its business community, a government that's not listening, a government that's out of control. And what I fear, Laura, is that even if we do open, we'll open with so many rules and restrictions that it will render the economic viability of the businesses, in particular the small businesses that try to open, unviable. It's an unmitigated disaster here. What we have is we have a broken system of government. What we need now is for the Labor Party itself, the good people in the Labor Party, the Labor Party that cares about workers, to step in and remove Mr Andrews. It's now time to change leadership, to change the direction of government, to re-establish the confidence with its community. We have no confidence in the basic systems of government. I mean, what leader outlays an opening plan and then with no notice suspends or cancels it because he says they need a few more days to do the contract tracing? The obvious answer to that question is, if the health officers need a few more days, is get on with it, do it quickly. We are committed to an opening.
Well, Chris Lucas, much criticism, that's exactly what you're saying this morning, has been levelled against Daniel Andrews for weeks now. He's dismissed it as political. Are you being political?
No, I'm not being political. I don't care whatsoever about politics. All I care about is my 1,000 employees. I care about this city, Laura. I've lived and worked in this city all my life. In my own way, I've made my contribution to the city, as many, many Victorians have. And what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing a death by 1,000 cuts, a destruction of a once great city. This is not about politics. This is about humanity. This is about people's lives. And quite frankly, I don't think Mr Andrews understands it, because if he truly cares about the 5 million people who have been locked up in Melbourne, he should stand aside. This is not about ego. This is not about politics. This is not about trying to eradicate the virus, which is what he's really trying to do at all costs. This is about humans. This is about human life, Laura.
Will you survive this?
Well, who knows? No one knows, Laura. There's so many unknowns here. We're the largest employer in the hospitality sector in Melbourne. What a catastrophe we're facing 8 weeks out from Christmas. I mean, we can plead all we like to the Prime Minister, the Treasurer, other elements of government. But this is not, as I said to you, Laura, this is a fundamental breakdown of the system of government that is letting down 5 million people in lockdown. This is absolutely a humanitarian crisis now. The mental health, yesterday, Laura, alone, I had my employees in tears. Some of my employees are near breaking point. And to be cruelly told, oh, well, you have to wait a few more days while we've been prepping and cooking and organising rosters. It's just, again, it's disrespectful and shows that the leader and this government has no idea about what they're doing. I mean, surely if they were having a dialogue with business, we would have been able to provide them with some sensible feedback.
Yeah.
We could have still stayed committed to this plan of Wednesday, even if we moved it to Thursday or Friday. But there's no sensitivity here, Laura. There's no compassion. And I'm really worried about not just this state, but I'm worried about Mr. Andrews. I don't think he's got the mental capability or is in the state of mind to deal with this. It's gone too far. And I really implore the Labor Party to now step in and deal with it. This is a crisis of their doing. They are responsible for it. They are responsible for this Premier and his mistakes, and it must be fixed, just as Jenny Mikakos has made her public statements. Then the Labor Party need to listen to the electorate. Otherwise, what are we going to face? The election is 2 years off, so the public aren't going to get an opportunity to do anything here. So we are in the hands of this government.
Well, Chris, there is no mistaking your passion. I think you echo a lot of views right around Victoria, if not Australia.